Jezza is a very low-key kind of guy, and he's a very humble person and a humble winemaker, which is one of the fantastic qualities about him. But he's very loath to beat his own drum and talk about his accomplishments.
And that's your job.
That's my job, that's mine.
It would sound terrible coming from me, sure.
I can't say that, I sound like good. But I think, Jezza talks a lot about the vineyards, and that obviously is a huge part of the quality of the wines that we produce. But his skill as a winemaker and his dedication as a winemaker over the years is really a testament to the job that he does. Everything we do is about quality, and we see awards across all of our wines. So he's not a one-trick pony who just has one wine that, gets some awards. It's really every single wine within our range has been awarded, from our introductory trellis range, where we won a trophy a month or so ago at a national wine show in Australia, through to our reserve wines. So our reserve Cabernet, which was named on Matthew Jukes' top 100 Australian wines this year. So we see it across the board, and that really talks to Jeremy's consistency and his belief in quality at every price point within our brand. Jezza was named as a finalist for International Red Winemaker of the Year at the International Wine Challenge last year, which was a huge and deserved accomplishment for him. And he won the Jimmy Watson Memorial Trophy back in 2008 for a Cabernet Merlot as well. So it's been, year in, year out, he produces the goods. Here you go, Jeff.
But Daniella, you didn't tell us what brought him back to the Margaret River. Was it you?
Actually, the reason he went to the Hunter Valley was, so we are both from Western Australia, and I used to work for Mars Corporation, and I was offered a job at their head office in New South Wales. So we moved to New South Wales with my job, and Jeremy moved to the Hunter. And then we came back to start our own wine business together. So we always had this idea that my background was marketing, and Jezza with the winemaking, and we thought that between the two of us we might be able to make something work of our own. So that was really why we came back.
Yeah, it was an opportunity to do our own brand, really.
Yeah.
So.
How did you decide on the name for the brand?
Good one. Very good.
So
It's not after the famous female aviationist, is it?
the name Amelia is after a pioneering farmer from our region down in the southwest of Western Australia, and her name was Amelia Curtis, and she was one of the pioneering farmers down there, and just an amazing woman who worked the land until she was like 95 years old. So our business partner, Peter Walsh, so Amelia Park Wines is Jeremy and I, and we have a business partner, Peter Walsh, who is a successful southwest businessman. And he and his brother have got some really high-end meat products. And Amelia Park lamb was one of those products that was very well known in Western Australia for being a quality product. And when we were looking at starting a new brand, one of the most difficult things with starting a brand is having brand recognition. And because Amelia Park had a good quality perception in Western Australia, it was just a natural progression for us to name the wine that as well.
Yeah, nice name. Yeah. I don't know if it really ties into why we ended up with the brand, but the kind of nice story with Amelia Park is where our business partner is located. It's just a beautiful property in Margaret River where he breeds and trains racehorses. But that particular property he purchased from Amelia Curtis, and he bought it for a price. And a couple of years later, he found that there was a big deposit of ilmenite on the property, and ilmenite's used in the base of a lot of paints. So Peter made a lot of money from the ilmenite. So he turned around to Amelia and said, "Look, I've had a lot of fortune. I'd like to give you some more money." And she said, "No, we agreed on a price. That's all fine." And he said, "Well, I really appreciate that, but I'd like to make a tribute to you and call my property Amelia Park." So
wow.
That's kind of how Amelia Park, the name started. So Amelia Park in Western Australia, it's quite a well-known name. So obviously the lamb, but then there's also the racehorsing side of things as well, because our partner's quite heavily involved in that. So it's kind of how we ended up there.
Sorry, Amelia's name is Curtis, is it?
Yes.
And you name it Park just to associate the viticulture side of it.
Yeah, well, Amelia Park, as Jez was saying, so it started with the name of our partner's horse property, Amelia Park, where he has a big horse adjustment property, and then that extended over to some of the meat products, and then we progressed into the wine. And I suppose Park was really just, a nice way of tying the two things together.
So Park is Amelia Park on the one side is actually a stud farm.
Yes. Yes.
So from stud to grape.
Yeah. So there's quite a few different arms. And
What's the distance between the two?
the two properties are probably
50 kilometres,
30,
that?
40 kilometres.
It's like 15 minutes by car.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's very
Everyone in
close.
Australia says, it's 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
So was that and where is the property with the illuminite?
That's in Vass, so that's Amelia Park Stud, where the stud is. And that's actually, where it is called Vass. It's part of the Margaret River region.
Is Vass same Vass as after Vass Felix?
No, it's...
How do you spell it?
Same name,
Spelled
same
the same?
spelling as Vas
Okay.
Felix, but just not in the same location as
Okay.
Vas Felix. So if you look at the
So he
suburb-
actually bought that property from Amelia Curtis, and that's where he profited from the illuminite,
Yeah.
and he was grateful.
He was just very appreciative of, what he'd come, good fortune, so...
Where is Amelia Curtis buried? Is she still alive?
No,
No, she'd be
she's in the in Bustleton. in
Bustleton.
the cemetery, which is
Not in
the
not in Amelia Parks.
not in the no.